Well, there is much more out there in the world of crypto investing than plain old Bitcoin. Now, while the whole world is fixated in owning a nano part of the original crypto coin, the world has moved further with several other Bitcoins, crypto coins out there, and innovations in the world of blockchain itself, like NFTs, which are now capturing the attention of the investing world. And we also have evolved in our approach to investing in these crypto coins. From owning just a few coins, we're now looking at asset allocation inside the crypto space. And we had an ETF that came about that featured crypto. Sorry, ETF is exchange traded funds, which is essentially a bunch of securities and shares that are traded on an exchange. And with Bitcoin featured in this is kind of huge. And these are the kind of tools and innovations that are opening up newer possibilities for retail investors to invest in with better confidence in the world of crypto. Now, to talk more about what you can do, we have two fantastic people out here. Please welcome Edul Patel, the co-founder and CEO of Mudrex, a global crypto investment platform. Now, what Mudrex does, it helps you automate your trading process, and they have tools to help you track global crypto investors on their trades and follow their strategy as well. So thanks for plugging in today, Edul. Pleasure to have you with us.
Same here, Ashwin. At Mudrex, it's effectively our job to help people simplify their crypto investing journey, and that's where we are working on.
Lovely. We're going to talk a lot more about that. Please welcome back Rajagopal Menon, the Vice President at WazirX, India's leading crypto exchange, and really amongst one of the oldest ones in the country as well. Welcome back, Raj.
Hey, Ashwin. Thanks for having me.
Now, let's explore crypto investing trends in India right now. Question to both of you: how are Indian youth and really first-time investors, people who haven't really looked at the world of bourses and exchanges, how are they looking at investing with crypto with all the options that are available? And Edul, you have a lot of data on really simplifying investing for all these first-timers, right? Tell us about that.
Correct. Yeah, so I think what the kind of typical journey that we are seeing for users, not only in India but across the world, is that folks come in and then purchase their first crypto. They either make a profit or make a loss, and then they suddenly realize that, oh, there is just so much more to crypto than buying Bitcoin. And then eventually either are ending up looking for something like a mutual fund in crypto because they simply can't wrap out their head around what's going on with everything, or they end up just going out and buying 2-3 random coins just for the sake of getting those insanely high returns or going to zero. In most cases, it's just small amounts that they are putting in anyways. And that's the kind of behavior that we are seeing. And on the mutual funds, etc. side, they ended up investing a lot of the products that Mudrex makes that helps make crypto investing easier and simpler so that they can hold and keep those tokens in their wallets essentially for long term.
Interesting. And Raj, how are you looking at this in the sense that you're one of the older players in the market? You've been actually seeing that trend grow over the last couple of years from people, being far more skeptical about, if you say cryptocurrencies, they'll be like, acha, it's a fad. Now people probably asking you every time they know that you're from WazirX, asking you like, what should I invest in? Tell me about the journey.
A very interesting journey, Ashwin. So, if you look at India as a market, we've skipped technological revolutions. So you moved, you don't have a telephone in everyone's house. You just had a mobile phone in everyone's hands. Yeah. You went from one channel, Doordarshan, to suddenly, 250 channels, and now, 2000 channels. So you've missed a lot of iterations. You skip a lot of, you jump straight in. So that's what's happening with crypto as we see it, What is happening is that the youth are not, my first investment I remember was in a PPF. So you had your FDs and your PPFs, and then you move to stocks, and then you realize you don't have the time, then you move to mutual funds, largely like what Edul described. But what people are now realizing is that they want some excitement in their lives, and crypto does that. But to be fair, all markets are doing really well. We just last month was it that BSE added, I think, 1 crore accounts in just 100 days. So all the markets are on fire, and everywhere people are talking about, when will the crash happen? When will the crash happen? So all of us are just riding it out. And the youth of today, I think they're attracted to crypto because, it's excitement. It's for the first time in our lifetimes, you are able to trade in a global asset. So we missed out on, in Web 1.0, we missed out on the Amazons and the Yahoos. Web 2.0, you missed out on the Facebooks and the Twitters. But Web 3, you actually can, participate in the revolution. And, we are the first guys to jump in, right? we are very, very technologically adept, basically because we are a young nation, and basically because I think we are not, we don't have that phobia when it comes to technology. We are willing to give it a chance, which is why a lot of things are going right for us.
Talking about that excitement, we had Nischal, the CEO of WazirX, who was with us a couple of days back, and he was telling us that absolutely anybody can start their own cryptocurrency if they, if it isn't too hard to create your own crypto coin. But the challenges of popularizing it is what the real big challenge is. So there is excitement all the time, and there's not just excitement for investors because the market space is moving. There's excitement of merging art and creativity into this whole space, and for people who are technologically inclined, as Raj just spoke right now, you have an opportunity of entering a new domain which is still bubbling up. Blockchain technology is jumping up. You are a bunch of young guys who started Mudrex. I mean, you guys were in college. You had 2 jobs before you decided, we want to, create something of our own. So I understand the excitement for entrepreneurs like yourself to, to be able to catch something early and jump into that. But what is driving young Indians and young investors? What's the appeal for them?
Yes. So I think for most young investors, as Rajan mentioned earlier, what's happening is that people are wanting to enter into the crypto space with this certain excitement and with this certain high gains that are available, right? And when you're younger in life, you don't have a lot of income that you want to spend, and not most people are not looking at it as a retirement fund, right? Most people are looking at it as a high risk, high return investment that can give them a significant kind of sort of levered outcome at the end of it, right? And that's kind of sort of what we are seeing is exciting to most people, that they are looking at it from an investment that doesn't necessarily impact or change their lives, but are looking at it from an education and learning standpoint, and are trying to understand how can they from this small amount get the hang of it, and then maybe probably grow their account to a larger number. Most folks that we speak to want to start with as low as about 100 rupees and play around and see whether they can get that 100 to, let's say, 150 or 200, which is not going to make any change but in their lives, but the resultant outcome is like a 50% or 100% gain, right? And the thought process is that gives them the base so that they can get educated, they can learn about more and more products, and they can understand what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and then over time invest from that 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 and so on and so forth.
That seems pretty much the kind of thinking that probably WazirX had, right, when you started your NFT exchange. I think June, July, pretty recently.
Absolutely, yeah, very recently.
Yeah, I mean, how's that coming along? Is that excitement still strong out there? Tell me a little bit more about that.
It's amazing because I think we were the first exchange to do, I think, close to, I've forgotten the numbers, but it was a 2-digit crores, worth of art sold, and Indians paying for art, digital art. It's a little bit, difficult to wrap your head around, but that's what's happening. People are, it is, again, not surprising because it's this Indian artist, I've forgotten her name. She's based out of Canada. And her drops are being, welcomed. It went for 1 crore or so. I'm not sure, but it was the Dasha avatar, of Indian deities. So it's who would have expected that, you heard of, all the Hussains of the world selling their art for crores, but an unknown Bengali lady sitting out of Canada selling Indian art for crores, no one's heard of her. So yeah, it's very, very exciting. But just to go back to what Edul was saying, people come in, why are young people attracted to crypto? I'll just 2 points, quick points, Ashwin. One is volatility, as Edul spoke about. Where else can you get 30% swings both ways? The other thing is the culture. The crypto's got its own unique culture. We've got our own terms like HODL and FOMO. So FOMO is also there, fear of missing out. The meme stocks, the meme coins. So it's as a culture, it attracts a lot of young people also to it, and they don't want to miss out on an opportunity of a lifetime. So those are the things that are driving forth. All the other things like NFT and all that, it's not gone mainstream into India, but you're seeing a lot of niche, people, niche artists getting into it. Artisans are understanding the power of it, which is why you have Salman Khan coming into it, and everyone will now you'll have tons and tons of tokens coming in. You'll have tons and tons of scams also happening. So please be very, very careful where you put your hard-earned money. Just because you think that a big superstar is behind it, he may or may not be behind it. It's better to do your own research and learn to swim before you can dive into the deep end of the pool.
Indeed, BYOR is a word that we often use.
Absolutely.
Do your own research. It's a part of the cool terms that you'll have to learn if you're getting to the world of cryptocurrency. But something interesting that you said, right? And since we have leapfrogged in technology, I mean, you're buying a piece of art from an unknown person. It's really fascinating because when you could first buy music online, or when you could buy an app, and this was about 10 years back, right? In the sense, one of the biggest resistance that you often heard was, look, if I'm buying music, I'm buying a cassette or a CD. I have a physical product in my hand. Then you bought a song which is residing in the cloud, but you're just listening to it whenever you want. And now you're buying a picture which everybody else also can have on your own, but your picture is special in several ways. Really, the evolution is fascinating, and the evolution of investing as well, right? In the sense that you're the New York Stock Exchange, which listed a Bitcoin ETF, and that kind of pushed the prices on a different new level. Edul, just a quick question. Is this the beginning of something huge, or is it just a one-off case, with the New York Stock Exchange being ahead of its time, with every other stock exchange taking a really long time to come up to that space, or they might not even do it? How are you reading this?
So actually, it is, in my opinion, something that's pretty huge because it signals acceptance, right? Because this is not the first time a Bitcoin ETF was applied for. In fact, the first time a Bitcoin ETF was applied for to be listed was way back in 2014 when the Winklevoss twins wanted to list their own Bitcoin ETF. And at that point in time, the SEC had given some resistance to it regarding volatility, regarding ownership, regarding trading, and so on and so forth. And over time, what has happened is that a lot of those issues that the SEC had pointed out with the original rejection have kind of sort of been resolved. This ETF that got launched, the BITO, is also not a Bitcoin ETF, it's a Bitcoin futures ETF, which means that it tracks the price of Bitcoin, not necessarily, there is no actual Bitcoin backing that. But having said that, that will change because now a lot of people have started to apply for an actual Bitcoin physical ETF as well. And then once that opens up, as we say, Bitcoin is the gateway drug to crypto, right? So once that opens up, more and more different kind of crypto ETFs are bound to come in. See, because at the end of the day, exchanges even today are the bridge and essentially the gatekeepers to the traditional financial world, right? So if you want to get more and more people from traditional finance to start accepting crypto, it will be slow and steady, but via these innovations and these new products that will help them get on board. And ETFs are just one way that simplify this investing process for most people.
And you want that veneer of legibility to come in so that there can be a lot more people who are going to start trusting it, especially the older people. But I would really wait to reach a time 50 years later.
Yeah.
And they say that cryptocurrency is for old people.
Yeah. So essentially think of it this way, right? Like at the end of the day, when most people are looking at it from an investment perspective, investments are an outcome of trust that needs to be built, right? Now, trust needs to be built by individuals, by companies, by governments, and so on and so forth. And we are moving closer and closer to that government layer now. That will help build trust and bring legitimacy further to this ecosystem.
Absolutely. What's been the sentiment inside WazirX, Raj, when you had this, this New York Stock Exchange move? You had El Salvador that said that we're going to make, Bitcoin legit. What's the sentiment inside WazirX there?
Oh, we've been having crazy times. So just October 30th, that was just 2 weeks ago, we've had our highest trading volumes. So we did volumes worth $350 million in a single day, and our servers melted. And we were, people say, why can't you get your servers up? Yeah, but we are already at 10x. We are making it 100x, and still your servers melt. So we've been expecting it because we know that October, November, December are typically the bull run of the Bitcoin that usually happens. So we've been here long enough to know that, and we've been ramping up as well. But every time, the exponential demand, scares the shit out of my engineers, So you say that it's a good problem to have, but let me assure you, when you're in the hot seat, it's not a good problem when, you have millions of users coming in and demanding Shiba Inu. So that was the driver for our latest meltdown. So a lot of people, Edu was saying that it's Bitcoin. That is, I think, more true for the traditional old fuddy generation like us. The youngsters are heavily into these meme coins and shit coins, as we oldies call them. But lately, I've been doing a little bit of research on Shiba, and they seem to be having a plan. They've given out their dog paper, as they call it, and the plan seems to be instead of white paper, they call it the dog paper. So it seems to be pretty interesting. I went through it, and they have a lot of plans. So I think again, the youngsters are right again. there seems to be something behind the madness of Shiba Inu.
There was a little debate that we had a while back as to what is it that turns a meme coin into a legit super coin, and I'm going to save that debate for a different day. Because I think understanding that litmus test is going to be really important for even people like me who often look at a coin and say, that's a meme coin, that's a junk coin. You don't even want to look at that, and the next day you see the prices soaring up, and you're like, okay, I missed that bus as well. So it'll be good to get some math behind, how to gauge these coins far better. And I think it's evolving.
It's an interesting point, Ashwin, what you raised is that, I think quite a sizable majority of investors are investors. Yeah. You don't use Ethereum or ETH to power your transactions, to pay your gas fees. A lot of people do, but millions of people are using it as a proxy for investment, as a proxy of being in the crypto space. And they might not necessarily do DeFi the way they do the conventional banking, but this is actually their window into the world of crypto. So, they're dipping their toes into the water, and sooner or later they'll get around doing transactions in the DeFi space, buying NFTs, because it's not as easy as just swiping your card and ordering it on Amazon. The day, so we are getting there. It took not a Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos to do a one-click order on Amazon. The day you make crypto as easy, we are still in the 90s space when internet had, where everything was, just about patched together. So we are in for a ride of our lives. This is the frontiers, as everyone keeps saying. So it's cutting edge.
It's the early days, and there's lots more to come.
But the gold rush.
The gold rush is beginning. Everybody's going to come and catch your coins before it moves. But Edul, quickly coming in on what do you make of meme coins?
The way I see it is that meme coins attracts a very certain sensibility inside every person who's wanting to invest, right? When you're thinking of it from an investment perspective, on the one end, you think of, I want to make long-term returns, I want to retire, or I want to make X% growth. And you probably allocate, let's say 70, 80, 90% of your wealth to something like that. But then on some corner of your head, you're always saying that, okay, I have 2-5% of, disposable income that I don't care about what happens to. Might as well try and invest in something that helps me ride a short-term trend and helps me get, let's say, a 5x, 10x gain. And effectively, the way most people are looking at meme coin is, on the one end, to do that. The other end is something that what Raj alluded to earlier, right? Being a part or owning a meme coin is a cultural status symbol, right? And it's a conversational topic. Even though you hold 100 rupee worth of Shiba Inu and that 100 becomes 300, you're still very proud of saying, oh, maine Shiba Inu kharida tha at this point, right? And that cultural attachment also drives a lot of growth. And effectively, that's what a meme is, right? The term a meme coin literally means that it's a part of a culture. It's a cultural symbol. And once it becomes cultural, it's not associated with the price volatility or kya hoga. It's just being a part of that group, and that very intrinsically attracts us as people and as investors, right?
It's going to be fascinating to see which Indian meme coin comes out on the top in the next couple of years, and who's going to be, spearheading that jump. But that's something I'm going to look and wait out and watch. But just coming back to you, right? We were talking about ETFs a while back, and really we are opening up to a lot more ways of approaching investments into cryptocurrencies apart from Bitcoin. I mean, you have mining, staking, and buying. That's what is making headlines. But you're offering something like coin set and algos, where investors don't have to worry about where the coin is moving and which one's going over the top and where to invest. How does this work?
So what we've seen in the past, Ashwin, is that users come in and as I said, right, like they start investing with what token, and then they think that they want to time it. And unfortunately, more often than not, anyone who thinks that they're going to time any kind of market, they end up losing money, right? And as a result of that, once that happens, they either shy away and get out, or they start thinking of, okay, what are other ways in which I can invest? And historically, this same kind of sort of trend also happened in the equities world, right? And that's why we moved in the equities world from just buying and selling individual stocks to investing with mutual funds, investing with ETFs, and so on and so forth. And our CoinSets approach is effectively to mimic the same setup that was there in mutual funds. So CoinSets at the end of the day are just a basket of tokens based on a certain theme. So for example, let's say if you are very interested in DeFi, but you don't know what are the best DeFi coins to buy, then what you can do is simply go out and invest in our DeFi 10 basket, which is a basket of the top 10 DeFi tokens by market cap. you put in money in one single basket, we go out and allocate and buy individual tokens for you. We do the management of when the price goes up, when the price goes down. We do the management of rebalancing and reallocating every month. So the thought process is to remove the decision making from the user and help them consistently make money and invest in themes and ideas and projects and products that they believe in. That's how coin sets and the products are built out on Mudrex. And we believe that that's the way more and more as retail folks come in, they're not going to have the time and knowledge and energy to go out and read about what they want to buy and how they want to invest. But rather they would want to invest in these trends and these themes and be a part of the crypto universe via these simple, easy to understand investing products that already exist in a different version in the assets like equities and so on and so forth.
And this is taking up classic Bangalore startup term, like you increase the efficiency and the funnel, you'll have a lot more people who are going to, subscribe to that whole thing. Just a quick question, guys. You're talking about people who, gone are the days when you have day traders looking at cryptocurrency space because it's a 24-hour space. Do you guys know people who still do day trading on crypto?
Oh yes, absolutely, they do, and in fact, this is also a massive problem because crypto is a 24/7 and global market. People can't really do day trading, right? So Mudrex originally started off by building a product that helps people automate their day trading strategies. So that's what we originally built out to help solve for the day trading problem in the crypto world. And those people are still out there. And to be honest, just like how the crypto market is expanding, the day trader niche segment of the crypto market itself is also expanding and in fact rapidly growing now.
Do you see a lot of day trader type folks on WazirX, Raj?
We have more sophisticated users, honestly, more of algo traders. We do have a bunch of guys who believe in themselves, but there are a handful. But most of our chunk of our trading are sophisticated users, HNIs and family funds who are more into algo trading. So yes, so as Edul said, you have the best actually coming from the stock markets here, because in the Bombay Stock Exchange or in the NSE, the moment you cross 8%, you have the circuit filter and so on and so forth. Here, it's 30% volatility is on par, right? So that means there is more opportunity for you to make money, and most traders think they're extremely smart. So the market, so the people who are entering this market is increasing every single day. So you have more and more people, youngsters, and more traders who are coming in from conventional stock market trading into crypto trading. So it's early days yet here.
I really anticipate a headline where we have, trader stays awake for 48 hours trading on crypto.
Been there, done that.
Really? What's your record?
I think there was this. This is way back in 2017 when exchanges weren't there, and I remember me and my flatmate and now my co-founder Rohit. We I think stayed up for like 30-35 hours trading Bitcoin, trying to figure out how we can exit a trade and sleep peacefully because everything was just moving so volatile.
Raj, do you approve of it?
I don't approve of it. I for sure don't approve of it. So please don't do that.
This is for the young adrenal junkies like Edul and you. For me, I prefer to just fill it, shut it, and forget it. So actually the most interesting investing story is so this came out of a Wall Street Journal piece I read a long time ago. So the best investment are investments that you've forgotten about. So what happens is that you've had an inheritance that you forgot, and it's lying there for 15 years doing nothing. You had no chance to do anything about it, and one fine day you discover that it's grown by 15-20% CAGR, and you suddenly have a nice nest egg. So that's my strategy generally. It's worked very well in mutual funds, and I'm hoping it pays off in crypto. So I just do dollar cost averaging, buy a little bit every day, and hope for the best. The gods of crypto to smile on me when I retire.
Yeah, and Ashwin, actually, to point out what Raj is saying, that is exactly the sentiment, right? Like a simple index product actually beats most fund managers in the world in the long enough run, right? And that's exactly the philosophy with which we launched something like a coin set that says, you don't need to time it, you don't understand the market, might as well just simply keep on putting 100 rupees, 200 rupees once or twice every week and just let it ride out, because the best and the most effective trading strategy is actually compounding. Don't do anything else, just let everything compound. That's what works the best.
So the best
Actually,
idea in the universe is compound interest or something to
absolutely.
that effect.
And interestingly, to what Edu is also saying, I think it's a merger of both the points. It's that it's not timing the market; it's time in the market. You cannot. Everyone thinks
Yes.
you're smart enough and time the market. If Warren Buffett can't do it, let me assure you that you can't. So just spend time there and invest in blue chips, and more often than not, you'll turn out right than wrong.
Correct.
These stories of fill it, shut it, forget it were very common in the Bombay Stock Exchange world, where you had like a man who picked up stocks 40, 50 years back, forgot about it, passed away, and then his inheritance is something that, it passed on to his
Absolutely.
kids, and they suddenly realize that they have like a windfall amount. But talking about, just to wrap up our discussion, I mean, every Indian has this thing about securing your investment, right? For every investment, you have an FD behind you. Digital currencies are still unregulated. Raj, do you want to just come in and help us understand what are some of the measures that consumers should be keeping in mind while investing in crypto, and how do you do that diversification and yet stay cautious?
It's largely common sense, Ashwin. So the first thing is that go to a recognized exchange. Now the market is so big, you have 4 big exchanges, you have 6 smaller exchanges. So more often than not, these guys, we have strong safeguards in place to make sure that your money doesn't go anywhere. That's the first thing. Second is, don't believe in tips. You've been there, done that, Ashwin. You know that it's usually you're the sucker at the end of the day when you're at the end, when you're like getting a tip for the first time. Always do your own research, not your coins, but actually not your coins, not your wallet, not your coins is a little too advanced at this point of time. But you should eventually get there to having a cold wallet and transferring your funds regularly there, because that is what crypto is all about, right? And if it is too good to be true, it is usually too good to be true. So the lessons of finance, I think, transcend investment assets. So they remain true for generations, and they are there for a reason, right?
Perfect. Edul?
Yeah, so I think the last one is what I would want to spend most time on, as to what Raj said. Don't be scammed is like the most important thing. If it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. And just because there is just so much chaos in the crypto world, it becomes difficult to distinguish from what is good and what is not. Always go to reliable sources, only trustworthy people, and don't really invest more than what you think will end up making a meaningful difference in your life if it was lost. So invest only what you can
I'd just
afford
like to
lose.
add what a point here. We think we are very smart. We are cynical guys who've been there, done that. So I got this call from my father-in-law. He's an IMA guy, blue-blooded as they come, understands finance, 40 years of experience, runs his own company. His wealth manager told him about a coin that will give him assured returns of 10% per month. So luckily he knew me because I'm his son-in-law and I'm in a crypto company. But he called up and he said, "Should I do it?" So how more blue-blooded can you get than this guy? He's from IMA, runs his own company, done phenomenally well in life, has got assets all over the place, and he's telling me that there is this coin, and he gave me the name of the coin also, I've forgotten what, which will give you an assured 10% return a month. So he was almost signing a check and giving it to him, So I was the knight in shining armor at that, prevented him from looking foolish. But the point here is that even the most savvy investor, even the most cynical guy, loses his head when it comes to stories of how you can make money really quickly. So there is a sucker every time, and it's important that you not be that sucker.
Greed and fear are great drivers.
Oh, absolutely.
There's also survivorship bias, right? One guy got it right. Doesn't mean that everybody else is going to get it right. I mean, Squid Coin, I mean, that was one of those things. I remember suddenly you have messages coming in saying that it's rising, buy it. And then you wake up next morning and it's like, it went out to like 0, some odd, obscenely low levels. Yeah. And you had like 1 million people completely miffed at that position. Just to close this, Edul, I just want to come to you in the sense that we understand what the regulations are around this space. We know where exchanges like WazirX stand. Where do products like yours fall in? Because you're more than an exchange, right? Where does regulation come into the sphere that you're operating in?
Yes, exactly. So I think on the one end, the job of a regulator in crypto is extremely tough, right? Because how do you define crypto is the problem. But then for services and products like what we offer, effectively Mudrex is an asset management platform that helps you manage your investments in crypto in a better way. From that perspective, it's kind of sort of fairly clear, right? Where asset managers have been regulated ever since the 1930s, since the Great Depression happened in the US, right? And there are clear-cut rules as to what happens, who can do what, how can you earn, how can you make money, what kind of fiduciary responsibilities you have. So from that perspective, it's clear, but it's still a matter of figuring out what crypto is before all the other things can happen. So I think our regulators are moving ahead fairly quickly, hopefully in the positive direction as well, to try and give us a better sense of what crypto is and what can be done and what can't be done. And once that is defined, services on top get very easily classified as one or the other. So that's an easier problem to solve.
February is the time to wait for all of you who are watching us, because that's when we expect to hear something substantial and read more about it before it goes into deeper discussions. And on that note, Raj, Edul, gentlemen, it's been a delight to have you chat with us. It's been a fun discussion to know what you have been reading and thinking. And really what all of you have been listening to is people who are steeped deep into the world of crypto, telling you to fundamentally do your own research and be smart about it, and do your research before you take your own decision, and explore products that simplify your exploration into the world of investing into the world of cryptocurrencies, as opposed to choosing one and tracking it 24/7, 365. On that note, Edul, Raj, gentlemen, it's been a delight to have you with us, and I look forward to having you join us back on Business Insider India.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
And we often say on Business Insider India, and my colleague Prabjot Gill says, work hard till Bitcoin is cheap. On that note, take care and bye-bye.